Hi everyone! So today I want to share with you guys what to look for when buying a property. So last time I was talking about what not to buy or what to avoid when looking for a property when purchasing your next home or investment. And I'm glad you guys all like that. And so today I had questions like, well, Susan, you shared with me what to not to buy. So what should I be looking for when buying a property? Well, good question. I am here to share with you things that you should be looking for that will be adding value to your property when you're buying a home. So let me share my iPad like last time. There we go. So what should you look for when buying a property? What will add value to your property, and what in the future, if you're to resell, what would be nice to be like having added features when buying a property? So I'm going to start here with townhouses, or any level of houses, semi-detached or detached. What you want to look for is something like the bottom picture here. So this one here. So this is typically a 2-story house, and somehow that is more preferred more than a 3-story house. I'm guessing because 3 stories has more stairs, and so a lot of people prefer to have less stairs in their home, and so 2-story would be something that they prefer a little bit more. And yes, I know the 3 stories are more modern, they're more valuable, and more modern, hence more valuable and higher in price. But typically, if you take a property that are both the same age, so let's say these two here are the same age, then this house here would be a little bit more valuable than this house, because again, this house here, the bottom one, has less stairs than the one at the top. So if you're looking for homes, see if you can get a 2-story instead of a 3-story. Here we are is my next sample. Let me just want to make sure that fits the screen properly. There we go. So if you're looking for a home, try to find one that has no sidewalks, right? So it's just because you can park more cars, whereas this one here, you have a sidewalk going through the driveway, and so there would be less cars that you can park on the driveway, and preferably people like to have it with more parking. Now you may say, Susan, I only have 1 car, so why do I need so much parking space? Well, again, this adds value to your property. It also gives you more opportunity, or potential that, let's say if you wanted to rent out the basement, you would have place for your tenants to park, where you can park on one side 2 cars, and then your tenant will have the other side, the other car, right? Where here, if you had 2 cars, right, you most likely would take both parking spaces, or you'd have one inside the garage and one out here. Then preferably you would, want to have 4 parking spots, so your tenant would take one side and then you can take the other side, right? Love my messy drawings. Another thing to look out that brings value to a home is if you have a walkout basement. A true walkout basement, that is. So I have 2 samples here. The first one up here is a sample of a walkout basement. So typically this is what the grade would look like if you have a walkout basement home, where the top house, so this is the front of the house right here, right? And if you were to look at the front of the house, you would see like just a normal 2-story home, or maybe 1-story home. You would typically see a normal looking house, and at the back, you will be able to walk out to the backyard, walking out from the basement, hence walkout, right? And so that would actually bring more value, because people like it that their basement is not actually in the ground, and you can actually walk out to the backyard. Where I have a sample at the bottom here. This home here also has a walkout basement. However, it is truly not a real walkout basement. Let's say it's like the main floor has been raised up a level, and so the basement just walks out, but the whole house is kind of on the ground, if you can understand what I'm saying. So the bottom house here, right, it doesn't have this kind of grading of the home. There is just totally flat, right? And so they just raised the main floor to be higher, and then their basement walks out, where a true walkout basement would have a grade like that. And so this home at the top will be more valuable than this one down here. Okay. And so this here is again talking about parking space. If you can get, the more parking space on a home you can get, the better it is. Even if you only have 1 or 2 cars, when guests and family comes over, they'll have a place to park, and that's always nice. Let's see what else can bring value to a house. If you have any questions or comment, let me know. I am live streaming so I can see your comments. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Here is something else that would add value to your home is if you can get a 2-car garage instead of a 1-car garage. Typically because 2-car garage, of course, you can park 2 cars. Or you can actually park 1 car and have the other half as storage. And we all love so much storage to keep all our stuff, right? Typically, when you have a 1-car garage, you can only park a car and then there's no room to put all your other stuff. So 2-car garage would be more valuable than a 1-car garage. What else do I look for, or what I share with my clients to look for when they're looking for a home? Well, being close to any artery of the highways, right, is valuable. The closer you are typically to a highway, the more higher value of your house goes. So if you were to live somewhere in the middle, rather than something that's like right close to the highway, potentially the one that is closer to the highway is more valuable. So if the closer you are to the highway, the more valuable it is. And typically when you live further out of the city, you want to be really close to the highway so that you can get into the city a little bit faster. Okay. What else gives you value to your home? This is Ravine Lots. So if you're looking for a home, Ravine Lots will bring value to your home. Typically a lot, it could range from $50,000 to $100,000 more to have a Ravine Lot. And what a Ravine Lot is that when your house is backing up onto green land, typically forests. Land, and you have no backyard neighbors, you have a lot of natures, and so your backyard looks really pretty. It has lots of greenery and lots of privacy. You don't have a lot of neighbors in the backyard. Actually, you have no neighbors in the backyard, and all you have is just nature. And so typically a house that has a ravine backyard will be more valuable. What else is there? Okay, so looking at the shape of your lot. Now, you may not think about it, but the shape of your lot will also determine the value of your home. A lot of people prefer like a rectangular shape. It's just easy for them to just eye appealing. It just looks nicer when you go to the backyard. It's nice and square. When you go to a backyard that has kind of like let's see here, it's called reverse pilot. So where your front of the house is typically bigger than the back of your house, and so in the backyard you kind of looks like it's getting narrower, and most people don't want to have that shape. Or sometimes you have like an odd shape here. Oops, sorry. It's not kind of square. It's kind of like a weird shape. So irregular shape it's called, right? And then there's typical pie shape where the front of the house is smaller and the back of the house is wider. Now, a rectangular shape is more preferred, right? Because again, it just looks nicer when you go into the backyard, easier to put your furniture or put up a shed and things like that. This shape here is where people really kind of stay away, because then the backyard kind of looks smaller and the front yard is not utilized that much. And this shape here is when you have a irregular shape. A pie shape is actually sometimes more preferred because you get a really nice backyard. But then in the front, sometimes you kind of lose space for parking. So that's why typically people want a rectangular shape. So when you're looking for a home, just keep in mind about the shape of the house, shape of the land, the lot, that is. So I just have kind of like a aerial view for you guys to take a look at. So here would be like a pie shape here, right? Where typically the front is smaller than the back. And then let's find one where. So here would be something nice. This is nice and rectangle. People prefer that. This also has a ravine backyard, so that probably is a nice price home right there. And then this one here is probably an odd shape. Is this an odd shape? Oh no, it's not an odd shape. That's actually a good shape too. Here's an odd shape. Here's one that's like this, but this one's probably be nice price too, because first I can see that you can probably park 4 cars and you have extremely big backyard, right? So here's a typical rectangle home. People kind of prefer it like this, nice and easy to plot out. So just keep in mind about the shape of the lot when you're buying a home. Also to keep in mind when you're looking for a home is a furnace, right? If your home has a furnace, then great. It means that you're heating your home with gas, and it's a lot cheaper than heating your home with electrical. So when you're buying a home, right, look out to make sure that you do have a gas burning furnace and not an electrical what's this, baseboard heating. Baseboard heating will cost a little bit more in the wintertime to heat up your home, right? Although if you have baseboard heating, some people like it to, first of all, you don't blow air a lot. And so people who have high allergies prefer the baseboard, but though, again, it costs more money. And baseboard heating is that you don't have to heat up the whole house. You just heat up the rooms that you are in. So some people will like that, but typically it's more preferred that you have a gas burning furnace. What else to look for? So if you can find a home that has separate entrance, that also brings value to a home, especially, not especially, losing words at the end of the day. So I'm losing my words here. So separate entrance bring value to a home because potentially it can help, future people to maybe rent out a basement. Even though you're not renting out the basement, having a separate entrance will bring value to the home because people think that they can actually rent out the basement to bring income, right? So here is a this is called a walk-up basement where somebody it was dug and then you can walk up, and here's a side entrance. So any separate entrance will bring value to a home. I was just scrolling the internet and I noticed that also something that would be valuable to a home is if you can get a home that actually has a nice foyer entrance area, right? When you have one that's like this, it's very small and very tight. Some buyers tend to kind of lean away from homes like this. It's just because when they walk in, they feel like there's no room to maybe put down their grocery, take off their shoes, hang their jacket. They just feel like it's a little bit tight to be walking in a home without an actual foyer. So typically homes like this may just have a lesser value than a home with an actual nice foyer, right? Also, to look for in a home that brings you value is to ensure that your home has an electrical panel, an updated one, right? Instead of a fused one, right? So this one here could be upgraded to this, of course, but if you have one that already has one, then great, right? What else to look for when you're buying a home? Okay, so when you're looking to buy a home, pay attention to the lot size, especially if you're in Toronto. The bigger the lot size, the more valuable it is. Now, lot size meaning this way, the width of the lot and not the length of the lot, right? The length of the lot is also valuable, but not as valuable as the width of the lot. The width of the lot will also say how big the home could be. So the wider your lot is, the bigger your home can be. Typically, let's see here. So here's the example. 70 is not an average. I would say in Toronto or the GTA, an average lot would be somewhere in between 40 to 30 feet. Small would be anything under 25, I would say. And then a large, of course, would be 50 plus feet would be a large for a Toronto area. So the bigger the lot, of course, the bigger the home. So that is why you want a bigger lot, the width-wise. I remember not that old. I remember a few years ago in Toronto where we could actually determine per feet how much it was. And I remember someone was telling me it was like 10,000 for 1 feet. So if your neighbor was 40 feet wide and you are 35 feet wide, your neighbors would be $50,000 more. But of course, today that number doesn't work out anymore. Toronto frontage lot is a lot more than that. Maybe I should look into that and see how much that is one day for you guys. And I believe this is the last one I have. It is the last one I have. So washrooms. So typically in a house, you would want the more washroom, the better, but not extremely too much. You don't want one washroom. One washroom means the house is pretty old and it will be kind of challenging to find other places to add in a washroom. So typically you want at least 2 places to shower in a home. 2 upstairs, or at least 1 upstairs and 1 in the basement. If you can get a washroom on each level, that would be even greater. But basically, if you have a minimum of 2 washrooms, would be great. If you have 1 washroom, then the first thing a buyer may think is, oh man, I have to add a washroom. So those are the ones I have today about things that adding value to a home. And of course, hopefully that helps you guys in searching for your next property, either to your home or to invest. All these tips are good when you're buying a property in and around GTA. So if you have any other questions, please let me know, comment below, whatever it may be. And I'll see you guys on the next video with more tips and information about buying a home. Bye for now.